Welcome to Charts Today. My name's David Linton, and today's edition for Thursday, the 23rd of February, comes to you from London. And we start by looking at the dollar index. It's above the cloud again. We've pulled back a little bit this morning and last night, but we are still bullish on all three time frames. So, better looking situation for the dollar at the moment. The euro was touching that 105 level, actually just went slightly through it yesterday. So that is bearish as we just start to make new lows again. We have recovered a little bit again in inverted against the dollar, so dollar strength. Dollar's just pulled back a bit. The euro's come back a bit as well, but we do have this downside target here of 104, so that is now just hanging over us. So euro weakness is still a theme, and of course the medium and long-term charts still don't look great. Looking at Japanese yen, just as a proxy for what the dollar's doing, sideways here. So the dollar hasn't really the last few days run against the yen, so it's probably been as much about euro weakness as it has been about dollar strength. Sterling has really teetered along, fell away quite a lot yesterday, and we're just really nudging this 124.50 level. This 124 level, once we break through that, that would be quite bearish. So we're just really in a case of having to wait and see. Keep an eye on the 1 minute charts just for a real heads up if you're trading FX, just for a heads up as to what happens next. We see sterling is just stronger against the euro, that euro weakness showing. Finding some support on the cloud here, but bullish on all three time. Well, actually bearish still long term, but bullish in the medium and short term. So euro weakness is really still the theme there. Against the Swiss franc, sterling is much the same picture. Swiss franc looking more and more like it's moving in sympathy with the euro. The Australian dollar back below this 162 level for sterling, so we are just seeing that dollar strength kicking in there. Looking at stock markets, the S&P 500, we're seeing just running this week. That was last week. That's this week on the chart. We see here we're just running up the hill as well. Nasdaq making new highs. Dow Jones again just running up the hill. All US stock markets still looking pretty good. It will show up in the weekly charts. So this is the Russell 2000. If we fall through the weekly chart, the 60-minute chart first, that's where we'll see it. But we've got upside targets of 4 and 5% here on the Russell on the short term. So that's where it's kicking in. The futures very slightly down, so no real heads up as to it's a bit early still to know what's going to happen today at the opening in the US. FTSE is again just going sideways but above the cloud on all three time frames. The FTSE 250 is just finding support on the cloud short term, just a little bit worrying that it's come through the cloud there on the price, but not on the lagging line yet. The DAX is bullish on all three time frames as well, and the Nikkei overnight was down very, very slightly. So that's also just still looking bullish above the cloud on all three time frames. The Hang Seng above the cloud there. So looking better through on the weekly. China not yet through on the weekly, but on the medium term daily and short term 60-minute, it's bullish. The Indian market, the Sensex is up, bullish above all three time frames. And the Australian market is also still bullish on all three time frames, though it's just tailing a little bit on that 60-minute chart. Brent crude is up this morning. We're just above the cloud on the lagging line still. We're just struggling to break this 57.50 level. That's what we're waiting for. And on WTI, we're above the cloud as well, but we're struggling to get through this 55 level. So the crude charts, until we get that break, it's a bit worrying. US nat gas really falling away very heavily. We've got some pretty big downside targets now. Note the 197 target. So we've got targets below $2 now. So that's pretty scary as well. Copper is just turning a bit bearish there as well. If we go straight to gold, gold is down very slightly, and really just teetering with the cloud. The price is through. A little bit of work to do, but the daily cloud is starting to look better and better. We've now got targets in either direction, downside of 2.7 to 1202, upside of 4.1 up to 1287. So it's a case of which way will we break. The 1 minute charts will give us a heads up. Silver looking very similar. U.S. government bonds just fallen back very slightly to $2, 2.41% yield, just bearish below the cloud there. Last of all, we'll look at some U.S. tech. Apple still powering ahead. Google bullish above the cloud. Amazon again moving higher, making new all-time highs, really significant there. Facebook popped yesterday, up 2%, so that's really made it clear that that chart is now starting to run. We've got upside targets to 141, 140.72, so 140.72. So that's 3.5% upside target, and a lot of upside targets on the medium and long-term charts. Microsoft looking pretty good as well. We've got a new downside target on the short-term chart, but bullish above all the three clouds. So bullish there. And Nvidia is staging its recovery as well, a new upside target of 9%. So quite key. That's it for today. Tomorrow's charts today will come to you from Houston, Texas. They're seeing clients. Until tomorrow, happy charting. See you there.